Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. So The Bride Test is the second or sophomore book by the author, the follow-up to the incredibly popular Kiss Quotient, or The Kiss Quotient rather. I read The Kiss Quotient in my Catching Up with BookTube series. A lot of people read and reviewed The Kiss Quotient while I was away from BookTube. And so when I came back, one of the first things I did was try to read all of the really great books that people had read while I was off the grid. I loved The Kiss Quotient. It is a 5-star book for me. And I wish that I loved The Bride Test as much as that, but I didn't. Did I hate The Bride Test? Absolutely not. But it could not compare or could not meet or exceed my adoration for The Kiss Quotient. So The Bride Test follows a very minor character from the first book, Kai. Kai is the cousin of the hero or the main male character from The Kiss Quotient. Kai is autistic and is described as having no feelings whatsoever. His mother is determined that Kai should be in a relationship, should settle down, should provide her with a family. And because of his unwillingness and disinterest in dating or settling down, she finds him a wife. His mother travels to Vietnam and while there meets a lovely woman named Esme, brings her back to the United States with her and kind of forces her on her son and says she will be your wife. They come to an agreement that Esme can stay with Kai for the summer, 3 months for the summer. And if they don't hit it off, she will leave. No harm, no foul. Kai just sees Esme as someone he has to endure for the time being. Esme, on the other hand, sees Kai as a means to an end, a way to a better life for her and her daughter, who she's left behind in Vietnam. So I think one of the reasons that I fell in love with The Kiss Quotient and still really adore that book is because of relatability. I saw a lot of myself in the main character of that book. I'm not claiming to have Asperger's or be on the autism spectrum. I don't honestly know. I've never even explored that avenue before. There were a lot of similarities between Stella and I. Quirks or neuroses that we share. And so it just made for a more enjoyable experience for me. I was relieved and so grateful to finally see a heroine like her in romance or fiction. And I just wanted to applaud Helen Hoang at that point for writing that character, writing that story. That said, I didn't relate to The Bride Test. In fact, I didn't relate to The Bride Test at all. I didn't relate to Esme. I found it difficult to relate to Kai, even though there were some similarities between Kai and Stella. Maybe it's because he's a man, I don't know, but that connection wasn't there. And so that stood in my way. There was absolutely zero about Esme that I could relate to. I'm not Vietnamese. I'm not a single parent. I'm, not living in an unfamiliar place. I'm not speaking a foreign language. There was nothing there to connect me to this woman. That is a big roadblock for me in any book that I read. However, it's a huge roadblock for me in romance. In order to want the inevitable outcome, because when you read a romance, there is an inevitable outcome, And in order to get behind that and want that and root for that, you have to be able to, in my opinion, connect. If there's something off between me and a connection to one of the main characters, I can't care enough. That's a tricky thing about romance, is you already know where the book is going. There are no surprises. You read it to connect. That's different from the experience of reading a thriller, right? Because when you read a thriller or a mystery, you read it to find out what's going to happen. You read it to experience the twists. You read it to find the resolution in things. And in romance, you don't need to do that. Unlikable characters are fine for me in other genres, or characters that I don't connect with or have anything in common with. I mean, I've never disliked a thriller because I couldn't connect with the character. But a romance, that's different. That is all about connection. My main problem was the beginning. My main problem was probably the first half of the book, when it was glaringly obvious in the first half to a distracting level. I wouldn't have made the same decisions that Esme made. I wouldn't have, I couldn't believe the audacity of Kai's mother. I couldn't believe the audacity of Esme. Like, I found these women to be really, there was a lack of respect for me in the first half of the book. Now, that's not to say I carried that with me the entire way through the book, because Esme probably goes through the biggest transformation. Kai does, sure, but Kai has to come to a realization of who he actually is. Meanwhile, Esme is changing and growing the entire time. When some things changed about these characters, about their relationship with one another, I started to feel a little bit better about it, and I started to care a little bit more what was going to happen. I cared very much by the end of the book. I wanted good things for Kai. At the beginning of the book, I didn't care about Kai. By the end of the book, I did, and I wanted good things for him. And I think in that respect, the book was successful. I mean, maybe other people felt this way about the beginning. Maybe the author expected me to feel this way in the beginning. If that's the case, I mean, she ended up winning me over. So I can't say this is a terrible book. I can't say it's an unsuccessful book. I can't say that no one should ever read this book. I think that it's good. There was too much about the beginning that I didn't like for this to ever be a favorite of mine, the way that the kiss quotient is. I don't want to reread it. I don't care to re-experience it. It will be available whenever I unhaul books the next time, probably, but not because it's a piece of garbage, just because when it comes to romance, I need certain things. Everybody does. They're different things, but my preferences, I need certain things from a romance novel, and The Bride Test just isn't that book. The Kiss Quotient is that book. The Bride Test isn't. And they're very different. And I'm surprised, and I'm not put off by the differences. I think that Helen Huang has so much talent because she's writing culturally diverse books. She's writing heroes and heroines that don't currently exist, doing groundbreaking things and impressive things. And I'm so glad that she is. I'm so glad that these books are being written. I think that they're important. I think that they're important books. And so whether there's to my taste or to your taste or whatever is not even the point. The Bride Test and the Kiss Quotient are important books to the genre because they're taking the genre in a different direction. A direction that I think is more socially responsible, a direction that I think adds some intelligence and charm and significance to a genre that is often looked down upon, often written off as being trash or, you know, what have you. I mean, it's the most disrespected genre of book. And if I can say anything about The Bride Test and The Kiss Quotient and Helen Hong, it's that they are deserving of respect. They have my respect. I can say with 100% honesty and sincerity, I support and recommend The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test, even though one of them I personally loved and the other fell short for me. It's basically what it comes down to. Please share your thoughts with me on both The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test and what you thought of them in relation to one another. I'm always interested to know that, obviously. If you have any questions about my experience with The Bride Test, let me know down in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you all very soon.